ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। प्रातर्वैदिक कर्म तस्तत्तदनुसद्वेदांत सच्चिन्तया पश्चात् भारत मोक्ष धर्म कथया वासिष्ठ रामायणात् सायं भागवतार्थ तत्व कथया रात्रौ निदिध्यासनात् कालो गच्छतु न शरीर भरणं प्रारब्ध कान्तार्पितम् अज्ञानं त्यज हे मनो मम सदा ब्रह्मात्म सद्भावनात् संकल्पानखिलानपि त्यज जगन्मिथ्यात्व संभावनात् कामं साधन साधनाश्रम परिध्यानादजस्रं त्यज क्रोधं तु क्षमया सदा जहि बलात् लोभं तु सन्तोषतः जित्पस्थ सुख संभ्रमं त्यज मनः पर्यन्त दुःखे क्षणात् पारुष्यं मृदुभाषणात् त्यज वृथालापश्रमं मौनतः दुस्संगम त्यज साधु संगम बलात् गर्वं तु भंगे क्षणात् निंदा दुःख अनिंद्य देव मुनिभिर्निंदा कथा संस्कृतेः निद्रां सात्विक वस्तु सेवनतया स्वप्नं सदा जागरात् रोगान् जीर्णसिताशनात् दैन्यं सदा दैन्यं महाधैर्यतः अर्थानर्थ परिग्रहं च वृथा संसर्ग संत्यागतः स्त्रीवाञ्छां दोषदर्शन बलात् दुःखं सुखात्मेक्षणात् दारासक्तिमनादरात् सुखधनासक्तिं तु अनित्यत्वतः स्नेहं मोह विसर्जनात् करुणया नैष्ठुर्यमन्तस्त्यज औदासीन्य समाश्रयात् त्यज सुहृन्मित्रारि दुर्वासना सर्वानर्थकरान् दशेन्द्रिय रिपून्येकान्तवासान् जहि आलस्यं त्वरया श्रमं श्रमधिया तन्द्रिं समुत्थानतः भेदभ्रान्त्यभेददर्शन बलात् तां मिथ्यात्वतः सत्यतां मर्मोक्तिं निज मर्म कर्म कथया क्रोधं स्वसाम्येक्षणात् आक्रोशं कुशलोक्ति तस्य च मनश्छिन्द्य प्रमादो भयम् भूतार्थस्मरणं वृथा भ्रमदिया प्राप्तुं तु हाने क्षणात् भव्यार्थव्यसनं सदा त्यज प्रारब्ध चोद्येक्षणात् शिष्टा वृथा च खट्टानुसन्धानतः स्नेहाद्वेषमत् सदा त्यज जनं मां संस्मृतेः. So we were looking at the 6th verse before. So in that we see that akrosham, okay. So akrosham kushaloptitaha, okay. So talking loudly or in a rage, okay, all that you overcome by talking sweetly, you can say. And then bhayam, fear is another thing. People have fear of so many things, some of which is conscious, some of which is coming from the unconscious or the subconscious. That's why you have something called fear and something called phobia also. Okay, fear, sometimes you even know the reason. Like you were walking on the road and a dog bit you. Okay. Then from that time onwards, like that, this happened in childhood maybe, but then you have a fear of dogs. So you don't want to go even 10 feet near any dog, and you may even remember this experience, correct? This is one thing. Then there are phobias which are completely irrational, correct? Some people cannot be near certain things, okay, let us say, or even see some things, or even see something on a TV Even if they see a snake on the TV, they start running from that room. So like this, or some people have phobia of feathers. You can't believe what kind of phobias are there in this world. And generally it is said that phobias are all related to some past life death. So whatever your subconscious is associating with your death in some past life, all those things become a cause for phobia in this life. Phobia cannot be generally treated by giving some logical reasoning and all that. Understand that it's not even based on your conscious mind. Means you have to take some therapy and all that. Then only it will work. But fear and phobia are all like from a psychological disorder standpoint, means you have to take some therapy. There is no other way. Here we are talking about general fear. People still have a lot of fear. Of course, the fear itself is based on the idea that I'm an individual, that the world is so big and something is out there to get me, correct? So to just create a fear in you, we don't have to do anything. If we put you alone only, you will start having fear, I think. Even being by yourself, if you don't have this Atma Jnanam, then there is going to be fear only. There is no other way. Okay. So then how do we get over this? Means one is that, of course, by assimilating this knowledge that there is nothing other than myself, there is no real karana. There is no bhaya karana itself. That is one thing one has to be very clear about, and also assimilate that. The other important thing in this is we have a fear of fear, I told you. So once you start fearing, the fear itself becomes a cause of fear. So that's why my Guruji used to say that you have to welcome fear, because even that you have to welcome as something. It's all in Bhagavan's order only, Ishvara's order. Even that I have a reaction of fear is within the order of Ishvara only. And that's why even everything is a devata for us actually. Even Kama and Krodha are all Kamokarshit, Manyura Akarshit, Namo Namaha, and all we say in there is a Kamokarshit, like that during the Yajurveda Upakarma they do, I think. More than that, for Samveda we do say that during Sandhyavandanam and all that, but the Yajurveda people even do it specially. So anyway, the idea is that ability to look upon everything as a devata and also pray to that itself. Your fear is a devata, you can pray to, when death also is a devata. Every day we pray to Yama, Yamaya Dharmarajaya. So fear of death is another thing. People have, even if no other fear is there, people have fear of death. So even that is a devata for us. Yamaya Dharmarajaya, Mrityave Chantakaya Cha, Vaivasvataya Kalaya, Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha, Audumbaraya Dadhnaya, Neelaya Parameshtine, Vrikodaraya Chitraya, Chitraguptaya Vai Namaha. Like this, there is a prayer. In fact, even like I think there is a Yama Tarpanam also you can do. Every Chaturdashi, I think it is Krishna Paksha Chaturdashi, you can do Yama Tarpana. And they say that if you do that regularly, you will not have this fear of death. And also you have Anayasena Maranam, correct? Like I told you, initially people's prayer is that I want this, I want that and all that. After you reach 60, 65, now what is your prayer? Anayasena Maranam, Vina Dainyena Jivitam, Dehi me Kripaya Shambho. Like that, hey Shambho, give me death, but I don't want to suffer in hospital or with all this, whatever. Nowadays they have this life-saving machines and all that, correct? Whether you are able to, your heart is able to pump the blood or not, they will keep pumping and they can keep you alive clinically. With all the tubes and all that, they can put you hundreds of tubes everywhere in your body and keep you alive. Or you can be alive in coma, we don't know. So all this I don't want. So anayasena maranam. And also whatever life I live, I want to live a healthy life, correct? At the end of the day, health is the real wealth that many people in fact regret also. Once they lose their health, then they regret. With all the money they earned, they lost their wealth. But then once they have all that money also, they are not able to regain the health. Okay. So some billionaires and all, they have regretted that. When they finally ask them, what is the one thing you regret? Even recently there was some video and all that, I think, of one person. He said, the only thing I regret is I took my health for granted and I should have been more careful about that and all that. Anyway, the idea here is, one is you take care of all these things at the right time. That's why the Nitya Karma is very important. Even with reference to your health, it's not that you do something dramatic and all that. Whatever you do over a period of time daily, whether it is 10 minutes, 15 minutes, is going to have a bigger effect than anything else. So remember that. The same thing is now coming back in a new fad. They call it atomic habits and things like that. Okay, everything is only a word play nowadays. New fads are coming. Nothing is new really. All that is already there in our tradition. That's why the Nitya Naimitika Karma is the most important thing for a Vedantin also. Without Nitya Karma, in the Nitya Karma itself, all this Yama prayer and all is there. Okay, even from a prayer standpoint, everything is there in our Nitya Karma. Whether it is pranayama, different types of prayers, dhyanam, all these things are there. So don't go for some fancy technique and all that. If you are able to do your Nitya Karma correctly, and 3 times means even better, and then it is good. Okay, even you can overcome fear and all that, because the fear also is there because somehow you think that whatever is other than you is hostile to you, correct? But if you are able to accept that as Ishvara, everything is Ishvara only, correct? Including your body, mind, sense complex. So one level is to accept everything as an expression of Bhagavan. Then why are you going to have any fear? There cannot be any fear, correct? The other is assimilating the Vedantic teaching where there is no fear. There cannot be any fear because there is no other thing there out there. The Bhaya Karanam itself is not there. Even beyond that, if you take yourself as an individual, then you cannot get rid of the fear of death. That's why I said that fear of death will be there. That also you have to overcome by prayer relatively, and absolutely means again individuality itself is not real. Understand that you are not an individual in space-time. You are Brahman in whom space-time is there. That is the reality. So finally the Abhayam Pratishtham Vindate is only moksha. There is no other way you can gain complete absolute Abhayam other than moksha prapti, which is nothing but knowing yourself as the limitless conscious being in whom space-time is. Therefore, nothing, in fact, nothing is there in the same order of reality as yourself. So nothing can really touch you. That's why Bhagavan says, Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shosyayevacha nitya sarvagatasthānuhu achaloyam sanatanaha. All this Atma Swarupa Jnanam and dwelling on that alone can also finally release you from all fear. So for that, anyway, this knowledge has to be available all the time. That's why being alert to this knowledge, having all this knowledge and making it available whenever it is required is very important. So getting rid of fear, of course, relatively in Vyavahara also, one has to be fearless. And absolutely also by dwelling on one's own nature, Surupa, also one sees that there is no reason or there is no real cause for any fear. Now that continuation of this fear only Acharya is taking now, correct? Bhuthartha smaranam vritha brahmadiya praptuntu hanekshana. So one thing is fear based on what happened in the past, correct? Or some people keep on complaining also, correct? My Guruji used to say a story that only, in fact, maybe he even saw it on a train, I think. In those days, we all used to travel by train a lot. And that too long distance trains means you have a lot of interesting stories happening around you. So it seems that one lady was on the train, and I don't think in those days we had so many vendors and pantry car and all that, correct? So Swamiji was in some coach, and one lady started saying that I want water. Nobody had water in that coach, and they didn't have water also. They could not get it from anybody. So she kept on complaining that I want water, I want water, I don't have water, I'm so thirsty, all that. But you can't do much because until the next station comes, you can't do anything about it. But she kept on complaining. Then when the next station came, her husband went out, got some water and all that, and gave her. She drank the water. But even then, what happened? As the train left, then she started saying that I was so thirsty, I was so thirsty, I was so thirsty. So even that you bring into your memory whatever may be your experience before, whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, but you keep dwelling on that, correct? And still she is complaining that I was so thirsty. No, that's not intelligent living, correct? So, Bhuthartha Smaranam means the whatever which happened in the past, correct? Due to some delusional thinking, correct? Brahmadiya, Vritha, also it is useless. Whatever has happened has already happened, correct? So you can't do anything about it. So that you whatever happened to you at that time, correct? Praptam to whatever you gained, whatever you lost, whatever it is, all your experiences which happened in the past, don't keep on dwelling on that. In fact, even in management also we talk about a sunken cost and all that, correct? Always one thing which they teach us is that don't make your decision based on the sunken cost. Or even in the stock market also, some people are, if you have to quit at some point and take some loss, you have to take it. But some people just want to hold on to the loss making stocks till it becomes like junk, I think. Then you are only going to lose more and more, correct? So if you make your decisions based on whatever you have already spent, then in future also, if that is a bad asset, means it's going to give you more loss only. So your decision should not be based on sunken cost, but your decision should be based on what is going to come now or what is there right now, etc. But that's easier said than done, because the human tendency is to dwell on what happened and base your decision also on that. Of course, we have to learn from our past. That is one thing. But your decision should also take into account what is there right now and what is the possibility for future, correct? So don't make any decision just based on, since I have spent so much time on it, somehow I have to turn it around and things like that. This kind of holding on to a bad asset, correct? Even any unpleasant memory is a bad asset. So I don't know why you have to hold on to it. So get rid of that. Don't hold on to a loss-making stock. It is like that only. So anyway, it has gone, correct? Hane Kshanat means you have to understand that whatever happened has already happened. No point dwelling on that and then letting it affect you right now. And then, but that is okay. Then what about future? Most people are anxious about future also. Bhavyartha vyasanam sada tyaja prarabdha chodye kshana. So, bhavyartha vyasanam. Vyasanam means again worrying. anxiety, all that you can say. The word Vyasana is there in many Indian languages also. Even in Tamil, they use Vyasana Padada and things like that. I don't know whether they use it anymore, but it used to be there when we were growing up, the word Vyasanam. So, whatever is going to come, Bhavya, that also worry about that, being anxious about that, give it up. That future is a cause of lot of stress for many people. And that being stressed about future is only going to make you worse in dealing with the future. It's not going to help you in any manner. So then how do we then give it up? Means again, prarabdha. Karma is our strongest shock absorber, always. Understand? Not only it is a shock absorber, but it also prepares you to face your life equanimously. So whatever is going to come is your prarabdha, is your own making also. So you cannot blame anybody. There is no point blaming anybody. And whatever is going to come, Bhagavan has already set it on motion. Okay, that is why it's called prarabdha karma. Means it has already started. Your entire life has started. Along with that, what karma has to be unfolding in this life, correct? What all karma you have to exhaust in this life, it is already decided. That's why even Jyotisha is possible. Understand that. All this horoscope and gochara, planets and all that, they are not even planets really. We have to say heavenly bodies. Because some of them are Chandra and Surya are not planets. Rahu, Ketu are not planets really. Okay. Rahu and Ketu are only Chaya. Means they are shadow, really speaking. So these heavenly bodies, their movement, and also when you were born, how they were placed in the zodiac and all that. That is only a model to predict your prarabdha. Understand that? So the astrologers are actually predicting your prarabdha. They don't actually predict what is going to happen to you in future. This one has to understand. That's why they can give you parihara also. Of course, the prarabdha is like a mukta issue, we say. Correct? It is like an arrow which has already left the bow. But like missile defense and all that nowadays, correct? You can still send another arrow and and intercept the arrow which is coming towards you. Or like Krishna did with Arjuna, correct? What did Krishna do? In fact, Karna aimed for Arjuna's head, and Shalya even advised him, saying that don't aim for the head, aim for his whatever chest or whatever. He said aim a little bit lower, so that even if you miss here and there, you will still hit. But Karna was, again, he was very egoistic person. He didn't want to listen to the counsel of his wise charioteer. Because Shalya himself was a great warrior. And he agreed to be a charioteer only because he felt that he took the hospitality of Duryodhana. Anyway, so when Karna aimed for Arjuna, what did Krishna do? He just pressed his thumb of his leg, and that portion of the earth went down, it seems, little bit. And with that, Arjuna also went down, and then that arrow took off his crown, but not his head or anything. So he was saved. So that is what we call the grace of Bhagavan, correct? With the Bhagavan's grace, even some papa, we can come out of it with minimum suffering or whatever. But even that is a great insult for Arjuna. Understand that. For a Kshatriya, losing his crown is like losing his head only, really. But at least he lived another day to continue the fight. So that means if you have some papa which is unfolding, some effect will always be there. It's not that it's not going to be there. It's only the question of how you can minimize it with your own effort and gaining some punya and all that. We can try to neutralize it. And that's what most people are doing with Jyotisha. Understand that. So Jyotisha also is not, they cannot 100% predict what is going to happen to you, because they can only say if you don't do anything, this is how the prarabdha will unfold. You can make it worse also, in fact, by your purushartha. Whether you are making it worse or you are neutralizing and making it better for you is in your hand. Sometimes nothing will happen. So don't complain that nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened is like you are making, prarabdha is like the river flowing, correct? And if you have to swim against the tide, you put in lot of effort to stay in the same place, correct? Otherwise, you would have been downstream 1 kilometer away. So don't complain that I put in lot of effort and I am in the same place. You are in the same place because of all that effort. Otherwise, you would have gone somewhere else. So anyway, the idea here is you can do some prayaschitta and parihara and all that. But if you are a student of Vedanta, you should be brave enough, correct? Courage. You should have uh, the fortitude, let me say, correct? That is a good word, I think, to face anything. Whatever may come, so what? It's all my prarabdha, it is Ishvara's order. So let it happen. Anyway, it's not, whatever is happening is not for me. That knowledge has to be there. Then only you can face. The Anatma Buddhi with reference to body, mind, sense complex has to be there. And all this karma is again only for this Anatma. Atma is Nishkriyaha. It is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Anandam Brahma. So none of this really applies to me. Whatever is happening, Guna Guneshu Vartante, all this, that is the Drishti. Jnana Drishti alone can again make you face whatever is happening without affecting you in any manner. Even before that, as a student of Vedanta also, we have to be able to accept it because it is all my own karma. See, acceptance itself is like you have won half the battle. Most of the problem is due to denial. All your sorrow, all your worries and anxieties are all because you deny the reality. Whatever is happening, if you deny why it is happening to me, why should it happen, and things like that, that thought is not going to help you. It will only immobilize you. So fear and worry and sorrow can immobilize somebody. Immobilize means you don't do anything. You are just sitting depressed. But if you are able to accept the reality, then you can still do something about whatever is happening. Right? It's not that you don't have to do anything. Of course, titiksha and all we talk about, correct? Titiksha for a Vedantic student also is related to all these things. The ability to accept, accommodate anything. How? Chinta vilapa correct? Without worrying, without complaining. Vilapam and all, you can take it as complaining nature. Then apratikara purvakam also, Acharya says, without having any hatred or whatever, if something is happening which is not pleasant. One is you worry about it, you complain about it. Next is you have anger, you have hatred towards that, whatever is giving you the unpleasant. Even that, without any opposing thought, because it is my karma. Just accept it. Of course, if you can do something about it, you do it. If it is dark, at least you light some lamp, whatever. That is fine. If there is a mosquito, at least get into some net if you have a net. Or put something repellent. That is all fine. But no point worrying, complaining, or hating certain things. So those are the things one has to avoid as a Vedantic student. So no worry about what is going to happen. because everything I take it as Ishvara's prasada only. Ishvara prasada buddhi also is important here. So whatever is happening to me, it is all Ishvara prasada, Ishvara anugraha. Even bad experiences are Ishvara anugraha only in some manner, because it is teaching us something. Every experience teaches us something also. So that is how one has to take. Then Shishta Shishta Jana Kriyam Vritha Cha Kashtanusandhanataha. So again, as a mumukshu and jijnasu, I don't want to involve myself in too much of activities, karma. Okay. Some people, they want to do only social service. You can't teach them Vedanta also. They think that karma yoga is doing social service. Karma yoga is not social service. Understand that. Yoga buddhya doing karma involves a lot of things. First, you have to understand Ishvara. Ishvara is the karma phala data. And whatever you are doing, you are not doing it for the limited karma phala. With all this attitudinal change, you do whatever is to be done. But even there, we say that kamye matistyajyatam, Acharya says, correct? Even in the sadhana panchakam, kamya karma avoid. Okay? Any kind of kamya karma avoid. Do nitya naimitika karma. Some prayasita karma you can do, but avoid kamya karma. Whether it was done by shishta or ashishta, shishta shishta jana. In shishta jana means those whom we would like to emulate, correct? In Tamil we say sandror and all that. Sandror. So those which were done by our elders whom we respect. But even there, you don't have to do everything they did. They may have done something kamya. Of course, they did it following dharma, and that is commendable, let us say. Of course, whatever is done by ashishta people, that one has to avoid. There is no question about that. But even see, here Acharya is saying shishta also, which is interesting, correct? So, yadyad acharati shreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokas tadanu vartate, like this Bhagavan says in the Gita also. So, shreshtaha, sishtaha are all same. Those who are leaders, those who are great people, our elders, whatever they do, normally others also follow them. Yadyad acharati shreshtaha tattadeva itaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute. Whatever they say is the pramana, that this is how you have to do, this is like this, etc. We follow that generally. But even in all those cases, you have to have some viveka as a mumukshu and a jijnasu. What I really want to do, what I don't want to do, you have to have some clarity. In that, don't do anything kamya. Okay, kamya karma, one has to give up. Of course, papa karma, one has to give up. Adharma, one has to give up completely. And even dharma also, kamya karma, you give up. That finally then Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja. That is the final thing, correct? That is the last teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Aham tva sarva papebhyaha mokshayishyami ma shuchaha. So sarva dharman means both papa, punya, everything. Then how can I give up means? At least first you have to take yourself as Bhagavan's instrument and all that, correct? Whatever is being done is not done by me really. It is all Bhagavat niyati. But finally one has to understand oneself as akarta, abhokta. Karmanya karmayah pashyet, akarmani cha karmayaha. One has to see that even while I am doing, I am really not the doer. Aham akarta. So if you are able to see that, then you are sabuddhiman manushyeshu, he says. So you are buddhiman, you are a jnani. But initially he says, at least whatever it is, all karma, whether it is good karma, bad karma, social service, self-service, whatever it is, selfish service, let us say, in everything there is kashta is involved, he says, because any karma has certain dosha, because you have to put effort to achieve something. Okay. Then after achieving also, you have to put effort to maintain it. That is a problem. How much ever you maintain, finally you have to junk it. It will go away, correct? So then when you lose something which you have earned with lot of effort, you have some kashta there also is there, correct? You feel bad about it. So it will all, whatever karma phala is always nashwaram, correct? It will go away in time. Whatever you have gained in time as a result of action has to go away in time. How much ever you may get attached to that you cannot really keep it always. So all these problems are there with any karma and the karma phala, the resulting karma phala. So looking at all the difficulties with reference to that also, like reduce your activities. That's why Bhagavan says that Vivikta Deshi and all that, correct? So you go and live somewhere where you don't have to do or get involved in lot of all this vyavahara. In fact, the Gurukula Vasam itself is important for that reason also. Wherever you are, even if you want to avoid, then you cannot avoid certain things. If you are in a family and you are whatever, you are in a certain society and community and all that, then you isolate yourself, go somewhere, go for a camp, retreat and all that, even that helps, correct? So, anyway, looking at all these difficulties, even in your day-to-day life, you structure your life so that you spend more time with the first verse, whatever he said, correct? That always you have to go back, correct? Vedanta Satchintaya, then you read Mahabharata, Bhagavata. For this, you have to make more time. As a mumukshu and a jijnasu, Shastra Shravana Manana Nidhyasana is the Sakshat Moksha Karanam. How much time you can make for that, you make. Rest of the things are all kashta only. Stop it as much as possible, reduce. And then finally what? Sneha dveshamatim sadatyaj janam bhasmanstata samsmritehe. So, of course, we all develop some sneha, means we move with so many people, and so we have friendship with some people, we have liking, special liking with some people. You cannot avoid that, correct? As normal human beings, we like some people. That is part of your personality. Likes and dislikes are all there personally. And some people you develop dvesha, ill feelings, hatred. Okay, now Acharya is giving another angle from which to overcome both attachment and hatred, correct? Raga dvesha only in one way. See, sneha and dvesha also are another way of saying raga dvesha, likes, dislikes only. But sneha means you can take it as some extreme form of like, because it is more like an attachment and a longing. And dvesha means it is not just a dislike, you can take it more extreme as hatred and all that. So, how do I give up means another angle Acharya is giving here. What is that? Okay, Janam, particularly with reference to people, he says. Okay. Now here, this Sneha and Dvesha are with reference to Janam, he says. So all these different people who are there in your life, all of them one day has to go into ash. Nobody is going to be there forever. So Bhasmans Tatha Samsmrite. Remember that everybody finally they will pass away. Nobody is going to be there forever. So, okay, from that standpoint, one can accept. Okay, this is how it is. This person is like that. Okay, I accept. The other person is like in a different manner. That also you are able to accept, because all of them are going to go away. Finally, nobody is there here permanently. So Bhasman Stata Samsmritehe means that they will all, so understand or remember that they will all become Bhasma. They will all become ash, or they will go back into the earth and all that, whatever. So like this particular verse, we saw that it's about, it started with fear from the previous verse, but again with reference to past, present, and also all the activities in the present, correct? Future, and getting attached or having hatred for people, all these things are different durvasanas. Worrying about past is one durvasana, or complaining about past, and worrying about future, being anxious, that is another durvasana. Then the other durvasana is towards activities. Always I want to do something. Okay, whether it is good or bad, avoid being active. Then also having a liking or a dislike for certain people, even that you have to overcome. So these are the durvasanas we saw in this class. Okay, continuing. Adhyatmadibhavam sadatyaja manas santap manastapam swabhavekshana vaishamyam samabhavatah parakatha vikshepamakshobhatah धिक्कारादिभवन्तु दुःखमनिशं तद्योग्यता भावनात् तज्ञातज्ञ शिशून् क्षमस्व कृपया कर्मक्षया ताडनम्. Okay, this verse we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.